It is November 20th, 2022, and this is the latest news update for Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, erasing borders. And now, the news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as dcbornrob, dcrob, Rob. I answer to them all. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, if you ever get any benefit out of my videos, do me a favor, go down and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to be alerted of any new videos, and like. Like helps the YouTube algorithm. The more you hit like, the more people get to check out these videos. Now, I just have a couple of quick stories. Again, this is going to be a 2, a 3, a 4-minute video, so bear with me as I get through this. Just a couple of, but it is actually the 19th, but I tried to do this early before I had to run out for a business dinner and then a business nightcap. So yes, I've had a couple of drinks and I'm chilling right now. Anyway, let's jump into these stories right now. Okay, so I'm going to give you the dates on these first two stories, and the reason is because they have a bearing on when the second story is. So the first one is dated October 15, 2022. It's from Minuto 30. It's entitled, "The U.S. Ambassador to Colombia Asked Migrants Not to Risk Their Lives in the Darien," which is the Darien Gap, which is the spot in Necoclí before they head to Panama from Colombia. And this is people coming from everywhere. But lately they're predominantly from Venezuela. So it says Bogota, October 16th, the ambassador in charge of the United States in Colombia, Francisco Palmiero, advised this Saturday Venezuelans who seek to cross the Darien Gap on the border with Panama not to risk their lives to reach the United States. Because from this week, those who try to enter illegally are deported to Mexico. It says, this is a quote, it says, "I spoke to Venezuelan migrants in Necoclí and then left them an important message. Learn about the new legal way to enter the U.S. Do not risk your lives and those of your families. Venezuelans who try to enter illegally will be expelled to Mexico," the diplomat said on Twitter. So there you go. They're telling people ahead of time, if you come here from Venezuela, you're going to get caught up at the border, and you're going to be sent back to Mexico. Now, the next story I have is dated on the 19th. This is 4 days later. It says, and again, this is from Minuto 30. It says, "Fewer Venezuelans are coming to Medellin and then going to Darien. The figure reduced by 90% less than the Venezuelans who previously arrived daily in the city." So they cut this off real quick. It says, "The ombudsman of Medellin confirmed that the arrival of Venezuelans who transited through Medellin and then continued on their way to the Darien jungle decreased." It says Sonia Inez Peña, leader of the group of ethnic migrants and refugee affairs, indicated that the decrease is reflected in a figure of 90% less than those who went daily to Aruba, Antioquia. He told others that the significant decrease in migrants who arrived in Medellin and then continued to Central America is due to the impact generated by the changes in the immigration policy of the United States. So the United States put out this policy 4 days ago that said, if you come to the border, you're going to be sent back to Mexico. Right then, 90% less came. I'm not trying to talk politics either way. I'm just trying to let you know. Okay, so I'm looking for good news. Always looking for good news for you guys. And let me tell you, it's been a struggle sometimes. If you watch the news and you read down Minuto 30 and you know if you just pull up the site, it's easy. Boom, 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 boom. Not good. This one says, Medellin Metro users who have Civica do not need to queue in the recharge to activate balance. So if you have the Civica card, which is a little card that you use to ride the Medellin Metro, you need the Civica card. You can recharge it. Normally when you recharge it, you have to stand in line. And it can be a long line depending upon the time of day that you go. So what they've done is come up with a way that your phone has an app on it and you can load it via your phone. Okay, this story is entitled "Medellin Metro users who have Civica do not need to queue in the recharge and activate balance." This way you can recharge and activate the balance of the Civica from cell phone. It says the Medellin Metro reported that users who have Civica do not need to stand in the line to recharge and activate balance. No waiting in lines and therefore saving time are the main advantages that new development of Banco Colombia and Medellin Metro brings to users who have the Civica card and who use the Bancolombia app or the app a la mano, financially entity. So it's two different ways you can do it, two different apps, but no, you no longer have to stand in line. I've waited in that line and it's been a problem. So what I did was just put so much money on it, I didn't have to wait back in the line again. So you just recharge the card. Next story. Everybody there should know. Everybody going needs to know. This one is from Minuto 30. It says, it's entitled, Experts Say That the Dollar in Colombia Will Continue to Rise. Party, good news. It says, for the first time in history, the dollar exceeded 4,800 in Colombia. That's high. It was 3.9, I think, the last time I was there, or maybe 4.1. It's been teeter-tottering, but recently the dollar is coming on strong. So if you're going there, which means your dollar is stronger, which means that people probably want it more. It says on Wednesday, October 19th, the dollar exceeded 4,800 in Colombia, and experts say that it will continue to rise in the coming months. The analysis was made by Jose Ignacio Lopez, research director of the Colombia in Mañanas Blue, where the expert market analysis stated that there are several factors that influence the increase in accuracy. The main reason is the international situation. It says, quote, we are seeing a strength of the US dollar globally. Last week's meeting of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, in its annual meetings gave a message of concern and that has caused market agents and investors to continue looking for the dollar as a refuge, she explains. So people are finding refuge in the US dollar. One last and quick story. This one is from El Colombiano. It's entitled, Captured. Two policemen dedicated to theft in the center of Medellin. They caught a couple of officers who were scamming people. So it's subtitled, the police followed the trail of one patrolman who were accused of qualified theft. It says the uniformed men must answer for qualified theft and robbery. The CTI of the prosecutor's office and the Sinjan carried out this Tuesday the capture of two police officers whom they had been investigating for weeks, accused of qualified theft and armed bribery. It was the victims of the event themselves who alerted the authorities of the crime that the uniformed men had committed in the center of Medellin, after which the authorities began an investigation process to corroborate the complaints to find and arrest the police officers. Man, reading this stuff is a struggle, I ain't gonna lie. There's no commas. It's like a whole paragraph. You say he instead of she. It's challenging. Anyway, one last paragraph says the capture is achieved thanks to the complaints presented by the community and a joint work with the institutions. We are relentless in the application of the institutional transparency, said the commander of the MEVEL, Brigadier General Carlos Humberto Rojas Pavon. So I have more good news stories than I have bad news stories. For those who say I'm only putting out bad news, well, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm doing the best I can to pass on information for you guys who want to travel to Medellin. Do you want to be motivated to travel to Medellin? Well, let's end on this.
You try hard to find the answer when no one knows how it feels between disasters. It comes and goes. The life of dreams is moving faster, and no one knows the constant fear of what comes after. We'll never know. It's weighing me down, got my feet on the ground. If I away from the lies, and run away from the light.
We have a YouTube channel, like it.
Please comment and share if you like the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.